All right, welcome to Resource Prepping. I'm your host, Greg. Let's talk a little bit of precious metals and silver especially. Friday's bloodbath, and I mean it was a disaster for those people holding paper silver. Paper silver. Your silver that you actually held, as well as your gold, was not affected. The speculators in the market buying futures of silver and gold were wiped out. $15 trillion in finances around the world globally in precious metal and cryptocurrencies were also wiped out on Friday and Saturday. As many people ask me, what do you think it was caused? Do you think it was this? Do you think it was that? I told you and I speculated right from the get-go. JP Morgan and Chase Bank were behind this wiping out of wealth and finances, and it was the greatest transfer this country has ever seen of wealth in forever. Now it is coming out through trade, registration, stocks, buybacks, and everything else. It is exactly who I thought it was going to be. JP Morgan and Chase planned this out to wipe out all the people that were weak traders, speculators, and could not meet the position calls, the margin calls, by raising the margin rates to where they could not afford to put more cash in to meet that call, forcing them to sell, driving down the price of silver to the exact point of $76, and that's when JP Morgan came in and bought all the declines. And if you notice, and if you look on any charts, at the rock bottom, it stopped falling. That's when JP Morgan force closed 633 short accounts. And the people couldn't cover and were forced to close, wiping out their investments. JP Morgan Chase Bank came in and bought all of those shortages, and the stock went back up immediately to $86 an ounce. Immediately, just before the closing. This is exactly the MO that JP Morgan did years ago when they had to almost pay $1 billion in fines for fraudulent activities in the metals market, artificially suppressing the true price of gold and silver, but silver especially. And people pleaded guilty. They never went to jail, but JP Morgan Chase paid almost $1 billion in fines to the regulators and the U.S. government, and they are doing it again. They just increased their wealth by $7 trillion paper. 200 people actually took possession of the physical silver they were betting on. And it was just like I said, the paper market on silver, selling and buying actual silver, was overextended by thousands, hundreds of thousands of ounces. JP Morgan had to clear out those speculators in order to at least pay back some of the forced sales and the people who wanted to take possession of actual silver. Where did that go? Overseas. In the meantime, they got richer and the poor got wiped out. Cryptocurrency was exactly the same way on Saturday. Crypto and Ethereum and Litecoin and all those, and I'm not familiar with cryptocurrency at all. I do not own it, do not want to own it, do not invest in it, because it's all speculative. If the power, the internet is turned off, you have nothing to show for your money. You cannot access your wallet. You cannot access your stocks. You cannot buy or sell. You have nothing. That's why I hold physical silver. And if you notice, you go to any of the bullion exchanges, silver did not drop in price, but just a little bit, and that's normal. Gold fell below 5,000, trading up and down. Silver prices are still high. They fell below 100, but with the premiums being ridiculous, a lot of the silver is above $100, $115 an ounce. Reportedly, silver in China, Shanghai, India, and other places are still hovering around 120, 130 an ounce, depending on the time and location. It was all planned, folks, as I speculated. JP MorganChase wiped out the small-time investor like myself. And I didn't invest in paper. I want physical assets. The people holding physical assets did not sell. If you're holding silver, you held on to it and was not affected. The speculation in crypto and ETFs, futures betting on high and low of silver and everything else were wiped out for the most part. The rich got richer at our expense. The overseas stock market opens in an hour and a half. China trading, an hour and a half. I fully expect silver trading to go through the roof and explode over $100 an ounce, possibly approaching 125 by the end of the day. Let's see what happens. JP Morgan is out of it. They've already collected their wealth and their enrichment. Let's see what happens. For those people who doubted that the COMEX was fixed and fraudulent, this just proves I was right, and you don't know what you're talking about. Greg out.